welcome to a sit down video. I thought it would be fun to recreate my wedding makeup. I'm kind of sad I didn't turn the camera on and film that morning. Not like talk, but just like to record what I used. But that's okay. I have some Polaroids and some photos that kind of help jog my memory, and I was like zooming in on my face this morning. Just because I remember some things and some things I don't. That morning feels like a just blur, but I do remember this. I'm like an oily girl, but I wanted longevity in my makeup and I wanted to glow. I'm gonna start off making myself more matte was my thought process, and then I knew I would glisten as the day went on, and there was a chance of rain, and it did rain on my wedding day. But as my photographer sent in on my stories when I was getting y'all to do a poll on the makeup look, she was like, and let them know how you made it last long. And I do believe it's because of the way I layered the products and using powder in the right way and not overusing any products. So the biggest thing when it comes to longevity in makeup is just building and not caking things on, but building as you go. And so that's what we're gonna do today. So let's get this hair pulled back. Oh, I'm also in my pajamas that I wore on my wedding day, which is super fun. Me and my bridesmaids all had these cutie Free People silk pajamas, and that's what we wore. I didn't want to do anything super trendy, and I'm such a Free People lover, have always been. So I was like, we gotta be in Free People, like why not? And green, if you can tell from my house, is one of my favorite colors, so it was very me. I, that morning, had spray tanned skin, so I have sprayed my face with a tanning mist. And why I want to note this is because when it's your wedding day, and for me, I wanted to look sun-kissed and I had a tan, that kind of helps with using less products, I find, for me, because I will already appear bronzed and I don't have to contour really hard, bronze really hard. So that was an important step for me, and I want to note that if you're using this and you're doing your own makeup for that day. I normally start with good skincare foundation and then a really nice moisturizer. And so I've done that so far this morning, but I'm gonna also go in with the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. I'm just gonna go in with that just as an extra layer, but not too much. Okay, the next thing I went in with on that morning is, I normally am such a Kosas IV, Liquid IV bronzer gal, but I remember I grabbed this Say Glow because it's not as bronzy as the color I had. I normally use that Kosas Liquid IV when I do not really have a tan on, or my skin's tan and my face isn't, because I have a shade that is actually bronzy. This is called, this is in the shade Star Glow. This is their Glowy Super Gel Illuminator. And I just wanted to start with getting my complexion set to how I wanted it. And I really wanted that glow. So this will just shine through all the other products that we put on. And then for foundation, I bought Mario, I always want to say Mario Badescu, Makeup by Mario, the one and only Surreal Skin foundation for my wedding day. But I knew that I was going to layer it in with my tried and true Ilia Skin Tint. And I trust this. I wore this in my 8 to 5 job, sweating, all the things, and this thing stays put. So like, this is a tried and true product for me, and it scared me to use something that I had not tried out on my wedding day that is like a 12-hour a day makeup wear, if not longer. So like, if you do use a new foundation, maybe try it out for a few weeks or blend it with something that you know has your back. So I went in with this first. Just like I normally would on my like everyday skin days. And another thing for me was having my skin look like skin still on my wedding day. I mean, when it comes to photos, like, you want your eyes to pop, you want to have eyebrows, like those kind of things. But when it comes to your skin, like everything that's not your mouth, your eyes, your eyebrows, like just your skin part, I would say know what complexion you're going for so that you can build it up to that. Like if you want your freckles showing through, or if you want to add them back in after you have done your fuller foundation, like just because it's a full foundation doesn't mean that it's gonna last all day. And so it's all these things you want to take into consideration. Normally when I do my makeup, I'm by a sink and I wash my hands in between each thing, but I'm not doing that today. I'm wiping my hands off. Okay, so as you can tell, we have built our skin up, our complexion up, and now we're gonna start going in with more of the fuller foundation products. So I put this like on the back of my hand, and I went in with Sephora's Pro Foundation Brushes number 47. It's the like tapered looking. And I remember that morning just lightly blending in where I needed it. So like my cheeks, I'm a rosy girl. Just a really light hand. And I'll just do this side of the face first so you can see the difference. Blend it into that hairline. I love this brush because it picks up so much product. It doesn't soak it in, which is why I'm using a brush versus a beauty blender, even though I love a beauty blender just for my foundation and something that I'm wanting to just sit on top of everything I've been doing, not erase anything. I'm going in with a brush that is fuller and that will just bounce on the skin. So now I'm going back in and I'm just blending in all the crevices that we all have before we do the other side of the face so that you can see the skin. I'm gonna zoom you in a little bit. You see how you can still see skin, like it is still my skin, but it is fuller coverage than this. Like my redness is not peeping through. We're starting to blend a really beautiful face. Now let's do the other side of the face. That morning when I got ready, I got ready actually in my parents' house in Franklin. I was getting married only like a mile away from that house. There was a park next to our Franklin house that is called Eastern Flank. And my family and I, ever since we moved to that house, had done walks over there. And my parents one day were joking, like, what if you had your wedding here? And there were some other venues I was looking at, and they were all kind of just like falling through. And we ended up calling, or my wedding planners ended up reaching out, and it was the perfect place. It was like a blank canvas. When my wedding planners presented me with kind of my final 2 venue options, it was like a venue that was going to offer me everything, but offer me everything in the sense of what the venue looks like, or do a blank canvas and we build what we want and kind of can just play. And so from my parents joking about what if you have your wedding here to it actually was there. So that was a really, really happy accident. But I got ready, and so with that being so close to the house, I decided to get ready in my house and just drive over. Because I have done weddings where you go to the hotel or wherever, or there's a getting ready room, and I had decided that I'm someone who like wants to just be zen on the morning of her wedding. Like, I don't want to already be drained. So I was like, you know what, waking up and getting ready in my bathroom and in my space actually feels like a dream. And so that's what I did. I also had dermaplaned the day or 2 before I had done this look. And I find that when I use a brush sometimes, it shows more of those hair areas, and so I have to go back in. So just noting, it made my skin look even smoother dermaplaning, and so I would suggest it if you want to do that or if you're thinking about it. So I have these 2 concealers. I've always used this Kosas one for years, but was just introduced to the Tower 28 concealer right before my wedding. And I use this as under eye and this is blemish. And then this is like blemish on my body just because it's a little darker. But that's how I used it for my wedding morning as well. And this underneath the eyes is so gorgeous. So is the Kosas one. I just found that the Tower 28 had a little bit more coverage. But before we do that, I want to go in with my contour, my Liss contour, just in case we need to clean any of that up with the concealer. And I went ahead and added some to my eyes too, just to go ahead and start building definition over what we've been doing. I'm going in with the Say brush. It's like the bigger one, so just be careful. Blend up. Because there's a lot of surface area you can cover with this brush. When I was looking for the photos today to help my brain remember what I used, the only other photos I took that morning when I was getting ready was screenshots of our Fainting Goat coffee order for the whole house. And that just made me giggle. I was like, that is the most Molly thing. There's not any other photos on my phone other than the coffee order for everyone. Priorities. But it worked perfectly. We could order ahead, and I sent off my brother and my brother-in-law to pick up some Fainting Goat coffee, which was a great coffee to start the morning off with. Okay, starting to get definition in there. Now I'm gonna go in with my under eye, and I don't always like set my, I try to wait and set at the end or kind of set as I go. But with it being my wedding morning and wanting to have the most creaseless under eyes, I did set just the under eye area right here right after I did this. And then I went back in and like set my cheeks, set my face, like all of that. So I don't normally do it this way like for my everyday, but I just remember that morning being very careful about setting things. And this is where I can't remember. I've started using a brush now for my under eyes, but I bet you the morning of my wedding I used my fingers, because I swear by applying your makeup products with your fingers. Especially like your concealer, like maybe the first pass is with your fingers and then you can like build from there. It's just the way that like your finger and that product get warmed up with your skin, where I just find that it just sinks into my skin so much better. And I will note, if you have some blemishes like the morning of your wedding, I would blemish correct before you start putting on more of your makeup. Like I would probably do it right after the skin tint and before your foundation, just to start building up your layer of coverage. Sometimes it's good to have a brush around to just get like around your nose, and my nose is itching. Oh well. You can see I barely used any of that Tower 28, and look at that. Like, that is killer. So now let's go in with the Kosas Cloud Set Translucent, all the words, this thing. And I have my beauty blender ready. And we're just gonna get in that crease, and we're gonna do it the old way. We're gonna bake a little bit, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna spill all this powder. Here we go. So I'm doing my first pass patting in, because I have creases. I will not lie, I have creases. And then the next pass, I'm just gonna leave some sitting on there. Also, there is not really a right or wrong way to do makeup. Like, I just want to say, everyone's skin is different. Your oil is different than mine. Your blemishes, the way your face is shaped, like, that's why it's so fun to try things out and keep switching things up. So feel free to play. And that's kind of what we're doing here. Let's go in and do our cream cheek. And this is what was so hard to remember. I love blush, so I have quite a few like blush products. And I remember I did use this as my powder, but I couldn't remember if I went in with like Bare Minerals Complexion Rescue blush, bronzer, or my Say or whatever. So I'm gonna try to do it to the best of my memory. And I think I went in with a little bit of this. This is like darker than you would think. This is in the color Kiss of Mauve. It's technically what they're calling a bronzer. But I remember going in with my beauty blender and this, and just getting it right into the top of my cheeks. I'm gonna sweep this away now, so I can like blend this down. And yes, we will go back and like fix all of that. And I did a little on my nose. And I like pulled up my, like everything's blending here, so we'll just go back in and fix that. But I am gonna go in with my Kosas now and go around my nose. On my chin. And then I'm gonna do this with the front part of my Beauty Blender. And just pull that out towards my eyebrow. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of that powder on a brush, or if you have a pressed powder, this is a great time to grab that. And I'm just gonna do that in my T-zone areas. And if you're a matte gal, you might not have to do this step until like the end or just in certain areas. So really just depends. Like look at your skin and see. You can always powder throughout the night. Like no one's stopping you. My wedding planners, did I end up giving them? No, they said I could give them my powder, but it was in my like dressing room if I needed it. So like, it's so normal if you end up needing it. I'm sorry for whatever's happening in between my eyebrows. It's because I haven't dermaplaned in a minute. Cool. This is where we're at with the skin. So fun. So before we do any more cheeks or anything like that, let's go in with our eyes. And I kept my eyes very simple. I used Mario's palette and I went in with, let me just point out the colors to you. This shade, and I blended it with the one next to it. As far as I can remember, that's what I did. But before we do that, let's just go in with this top shade, this transition shade, and just put that in our crease. Just setting the foundation. We kind of already have definition because of the bronzer we used. And for my eye, I did not want a structured eye. I did not want like this big thing because I was wearing lashes. I was gonna have liner. I wanted my brows and my lips to be, and like my highlighter to be the focal point. I find when I do a really intense eye, it's not my favorite in photos. So that's just the choice I made for myself. And that's why this eye is gonna seem a little bit more casual. Okay, so that was like a fluffy brush. That was Sephora's Pro Crease 26. And I'm gonna take, I literally got this at Target, e.l.f. Blending Eye brush. There it is. And go in with those two colors I was talking about and just blend them. And we're gonna go in just in the outer crease, right there. Make sure you tap because this is such a dense brush that as soon as you like go left or right, like it might flick some things. So that's why you tap. Cool. And the thing is when you get like your lashes on, your mascara, your eyeliner, you can always go back in and add more or blend out. Like you're not set to this. Now I'm just blending out this eye. There's always one eye that blends better than the other for me. I remember my wedding morning, that was the same case. I was like, I had Rachel, one of my best friends, was like, she was my makeup like assistant. I was like, are we even yet? Like, please stare at my eyes. So you might employ one of your people to be your makeup assistant. Okay. So that's kind of where I got to, and we'll add more when we get to our blush and our highlighter. So now let's do our brows. And for my brows, I just wanted them to look fuller, so I just chose to do a micro pencil. I don't even think I ended up using gel, but I brought it in here just in case. Because when I was looking at the photos, my eyebrows seemed very matte. They didn't seem glossy. So eyebrows are done. I literally just went in and did like hair-like. But that, again, was a focal point for me when I wanted to do my makeup. I was like, I want to have eyebrows in my photos. And you look back now, and I have eyebrows. Sometimes they get lost. Next, let's do our cheeks before we finish out our eyes. This is where I'm trying to remember what I did. I am gonna first go in with the highlighter, and I know this is gonna sound silly, but we're gonna do this twice. We're kind of getting an Oreo cookie highlighter. So we're gonna put this on, blush, and then put this back on, so that it kind of gives more of a glow within effect. So this is ColourPop's Lunch Money color in the highlighter. And so I'm gonna take that on my finger. I feel like it works the best on a finger, and go to the high point of my cheek first. It's crazy. And then my nose. And then I do my Cupid's though, so that we've got some sort of like And then sometimes I go back in if I feel like it's not to the level I want. Cool. So keep that close. But now let's go in with our powder. So I'm gonna go in with the Tower 28. And I'm using the Sephora Pro Angled Brush in 49. And we're gonna tap that off and keep it high. So right on top of those cheeks. And then I'm gonna tap on my nose. Right on top of the cheeks, and tap on the nose. So, same process, but I'm gonna go in with Say's Mia, M-I-A, Super Suede Radiant Blush, because it has a little bit of a shimmer in it. And I'm gonna put that more towards the front. Over. And then I am gonna take my kabuki brush and pull that. Okay. And then here's the thing about blush. You can play. You can add, take away. Concealer is your eraser. Don't forget that. So now let's do the Oreo cookie method. Or sometimes when it's more everyday, instead of this being the top of the Oreo cookie, I'll go in with like, this is Say's Mauve Glow. And just something that's also a highlighter is what I throw on tops. But I remember I did this on top because I could see it in my photos. I said, that is lunch money that is on my cheek, 1000%. That's the effect we have. That is so fun. Okay, keeping you close, let's do eyes. So with that, say the one that has a little bit of a shimmer, I am gonna put that right, just a little dot on my eye. Just gonna add a little bit of dimension and bring the cheek together. So it's not like we have something separate going on here that's also separate here, that's also separate here. Okay, going in with the eyes, this was my superstar of the morning. Maybelline Tattoo Studio gel liner in mocha. So in this brown color. It's almost like a purpley brown. It's very gorgeous. but I just added this as definition again because I knew I would be going in with a black eyeliner, but I didn't want it to be harsh. So I used this to diffuse it. And I brought it down into my bottom line just a little bit for drama. I went in with Maybelline Tattoo Studio ink pen. I think this is waterproof too. I knew I'd be crying, so. And normally we would be doing, I did a falsie, but today I'm just gonna do mascara because I really don't want to wear false eyelashes around my house. I just did a very simple wing, and the rest of that wing is the brown. Okay, I put my mascara on, my liner, so like I said, I did a falsie. I did a half lash on the morning of my wedding, but for now we're gonna do, I used Better Than Sex mascara, which I also used on my morning of my wedding because I put the half lash on, and then I did this underneath, put it together. That was my lash tutorial. But last thing, and most importantly, the star of the show was my lipstick for my wedding morning. This is Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in the color Patina. And so I'm gonna go in with a liner, just any liner. This one's a NYX liner in the color Natural. You gonna stay in here with me and do my lipstick for the final reveal? Evan's joining us doing our lipstick now. Babe, now listen, this is it's stay all day, so it's gonna stay. So I'm gonna need you to stay still.
Oh, I'll stay still.
Babe, hold on. Thank you, my love. I'm literally coming, okay?
Okay. You're all good.
I love you.
I love you.
Okay, and that is it. That was is my makeup for my wedding day. And my hair was up. It's down right now. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And if you have any questions, leave them below. I'm always in the chat. I will answer you. And yeah, thanks for watching. And let me know what you want to see next. If you like these sit down videos, the makeup of it all. And we can go into more of that. So yeah. Thank you, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.